This is the video you've been waiting for, and I'm proud to have made it happen. It makes no difference whether you're rocking the old Nintendo 2DS or the old Nintendo 3DS, this video guide will show you step by step how to get your system jailbroken. Grab your old Nintendo 2DS or 3DS system in your PC. You're about to learn something new. This video guide is based in large part on the written guide by the fine folks over at 3ds.hacks.guide. As with every time I've made a video based on the written guide, I've donated to them, and I hope that you'll consider doing the same. Before you get started, first, make sure that you have your 3DS or 2DS system connected to the wireless internet. Second, make sure that the battery is either charged to 100% or preferably, make sure you plug your device into the AC adapter. And finally, you'll need an SD card with at least 4 GB worth of space, either formatted in FAT32 format or formatted in your 2DS or 3DS system. You'll need a physical copy or a previously purchased eShop copy of select titles in order for this process to work correctly. I'm using a cartridge copy of Freakyforms Deluxe here, but you can also choose from any one of the games shown on screen in either digital or cartridge form to use as an exploit game. Alternately, you could use an Ace3DS X card and NTR boot to get this process done. That'll be featured in an upcoming video. Most of the files needed for this process are downloaded directly from the guide. There are a couple that are still hosted on the GitHub, but we'll go through them step by step. I'm using what's called Freaky Hacks because I'm using the Freakyforms Deluxe software. Scroll down on the page to the What You Need section. There are actually 3 links here. The first 2 are hosted on the GitHub, so I'm just going to right-click on these and open them in separate tabs. The third one, called Other Apps, is a direct download from the guide. So in this instance, you can literally just click right on it, and it will download it directly to your computer from the guide. I'm using Freakyforms Deluxe as the exploit game, so I'm going to use Freaky Hacks. That's hosted on the GitHub in the Assets section. You can just scroll down on the page and grab the zip file by clicking on it. The other download that's needed from GitHub is Luma 3DS. This is the actual custom firmware that you'll be running on your modded 2DS or 3DS system. Scroll down to Assets and then grab the zip file for Luma 3DS by clicking on it. Everything that you just downloaded is in zip format. You'll need to open up File Explorer and navigate to the Downloads folder in order to deal with these files. In this instance, I'm just going to extract each one of these one at a time, and as I go along through the process, I'll simply delete the zip files just to get this clutter out of the Downloads folder. And as a quick reminder, anything that you delete is still archived in the recycle bin on your computer. Now that all of the zip files are uncompressed, I'm going to grab this File Explorer window and just drag and drop it to the left side of the computer screen and snap it into place. I'll be using this old model 2DS for this process, and that starts by removing the SD card from your 2DS or 3DS system if you haven't already. Then insert the card into your computer's SD card reader. Once the File Explorer window appears for the SD card, I'm just going to take this window and drag and drop it over to the right side of the screen and snap it into place. Okay, slow your roll for just a minute. The most common reason that the jailbreak process fails is simply not putting the files and folders on the right place on the SD card. Double check your work carefully here. Let's start getting the content copied over to the SD card. Double click into the Luma 3DS folder that you just uncompressed. You can highlight both of the files inside the Luma 3DS folder and drag and drop them directly onto the root of your SD card. Go back one level to the root of downloads, and you can delete the Luma 3DS folder out of your downloads folder. Navigate to the folder called Other Apps and double-click into that folder. Important note here, inside this subfolder, you'll see a number of different files that have representations for each of the various models, regions, and operating system numbers for the devices that you can use this process with. Take a look here. For this specific 2DS unit, I'll need to use the one that's titled 11.17 Old 3DS USA.bin. The term 3DS and 2DS are used interchangeably here. Once you've identified the correct file that matches your own 2DS or 3DS system, drag and drop that file directly on the root of your SD card. But don't stop here because there's one more important task to complete with this file. No matter which region, operating system, or model of 2DS or 3DS system you're using, rename the file that you copied over to otherapp.bin. As a quick heads up here, if you don't see .bin at the end of this file, make sure to turn on View File Extensions from inside View from File Explorer. Cool, now that you've got this sorted out, you can go back over to your Downloads folder, go back one level in the navigation structure to the root, and you can delete the Other Apps folder as you don't need it any longer. Next up, navigate to your exploit folder. In this case, it just says V3, but this is actually the Freaky Hacks folder. Alright, Let's slow your roll for just a minute again and pay close attention here. You'll need to follow the path that first double-clicks into the build folder, then double-click into the folder that specifically matches the type of console you have and its region, and then double-click into the exploit folder. Don't worry, I'm getting ready to go over this with you step by step. First up, double-click into the build folder. Inside this folder, you'll find subfolders that represent either the new or old model and the region for each of the new and old models. In this example, I'll need to go into the folder that's called Old USA and double-click into that folder. Inside this subfolder is where you'll find the exploit subfolder. Locate that folder and double-click into it, and inside here you'll see a subfolder for DCIM and you'll see an exploit file. Grab both of these and drag and drop them directly on the root of your SD card, and if you're prompted, select Replace to overwrite them. You're done copying files for the moment. Remove your SD card from your computer, put it in your 2DS or 3DS system. If you're using a cartridge version of your exploit game, go ahead and insert that now, and then power on your 2DS or 3DS system. From your system's home menu, navigate to your exploit game, and then either tap in the bottom touchscreen to launch it or press the A button. Okay, hold on for just a minute. This isn't mentioned in the guide. You have to set up this game before you can access the camera function necessary to access the QR code necessary to access the exploit. So if you're going the Freakyforms Deluxe route to exploit your system, you're going to have to set up at least 5 of these formies in order to make this process work. Otherwise, if you try to access the QR code functionality of the game, it'll tell you that you have to go play the game first. Fortunately, you only have to do this one time, so once you have the 5 formies set up and installed in the game, you should be good to go. Alright, let's get back to hacking. Once the game has been loaded, tap on the bottom touchscreen. From the main menu of the game, locate Play in the top right corner and tap on it. From the Play menu, tap on Use AR card and QR code tools in the bottom right corner. Then in the next submenu, tap on Load a QR code. Give the system a moment to load the QR code menu. Inside the menu, you'll see that there's one single QR code. Tap on it, and then tap on Confirm in the bottom touch display. If you've done everything correctly up to this point, the screen should go blank, then change colors, load a few different text descriptions and things along the way, and your system should boot the Homebrew launcher. If you don't see the Homebrew launcher here, go back and check your work with copying things over to the SD card. There's no Homebrew to run yet, so go ahead and power off your 2DS or 3DS system. Then turn your system right back on so that you can reboot it back to the home menu. From the home menu of your 2DS or 3DS, you'll need to make sure that your camera is working properly. To do this, press the left shift button and the right shift button on your device. In this case, the camera works fine. It only has a black screen on the top because it's pointing at a black background. If the camera app's not working correctly, I'd recommend that you wait to jailbreak your system until it is. Power off your system by fast pressing the power button, then in the bottom touchscreen display, tap Power Off to turn off your system. Back on your computer, there are more files that you'll need to download. They're hosted at 3ds.hacks.guide and they're direct downloads on this page. Scroll down on this page until you see the section titled What You Need. You'll see a listing here for Safe B9S Installer. Click on it to download, and directly underneath it, you'll see a listing for Unsafe Mode. Click on this to download it as well. From your desktop, go ahead and open up a File Explorer window again for your Downloads section. Both of the files you just downloaded are in zip format and they'll need to be uncompressed. Extract each of these zip files and then delete the zip files out of your Downloads folder. Just like before, I'll take this Downloads folder from File Explorer and snap it to the left side of the screen. Go ahead and remove the SD card from your 2DS or 3DS system and put it back into the card reader for your computer. Just like before, when the File Explorer window for the SD card appears, I'll take it and drag it to the right side of the screen and snap it in place. On the root of your SD card, be sure to get out of the way of any subfolders, then right-click, select New, and select Folder. We'll need to create a new folder here and name it Boot9Strap, B-O-O-T, the number 9, and Strap. Navigate to the newly created Boot9Strap folder and double-click into it. Go back over to the Downloads folder and double-click into the folder titled Release 1.3. Inside this subfolder, you'll find 2 files, one named boot9strap.firm and one named boot9strap.firm.sha. Highlight both of these files and drag and drop them into the newly created Boot9Strap folder on your SD card. While still on the File Explorer window for your SD card, go back one level to the root of the card. You should already have a folder here titled 3DS. If you don't, go ahead and create it. It should have been created the first time that you launched the Homebrew launcher. Double-click into the 3DS folder. This is where Homebrew applications live on your SD card. Back in the Release 1.3 folder on the left side of the screen, you'll see a subfolder here titled Slot Tool. Double-click into that folder. There's a file inside this subfolder and it's called slottool.3dsx. Drag and drop it into the 3DS folder on your SD card. Once again, go back one level in your SD card until you get back to the root of the card. Back in the File Explorer pane on the left side, go back one level in the navigation structure until you're back to the Release 1.3 folder. In the Release 1.3 folder, there's a file here and it's called usm.bin. You'll need to drag and drop it directly on the root of the SD card. Just be really careful not to drop it on one of the subfolders on the SD card. Navigate out of their way, then drag and drop the usm.binary file directly onto the root of the SD card. Go back one level in the navigation structure from Release 1.3 back to Downloads. You can now delete the Release 1.3 folder and archive it in your recycle bin. Navigate to the Safe B9S installer folder and double-click into it. Inside this folder, there's a file and it's called safeb9sinstaller.bin. Locate that file and drag and drop it directly onto the root of your SD card. Go back over to the File Explorer window on the left side and you can delete the Safe B9S installer folder out of your Downloads folder. Remove the SD card from your computer, put it back into your 2DS or 3DS system, and power on your system. Whatever method you used as an exploit process to access the Homebrew launcher, you'll need to repeat that process at this time. In this case, since I'm using Freakyhacks, I'll start the game, go to play, go to the QR reader, and load a QR code. In this case, it only takes a moment for the exploit to run, and the system will now show the Homebrew launcher. This time, there's an application in the bottom touchscreen of the Homebrew launcher, and it's a Slot Tool application. Tap on Slot Tool in the bottom touchscreen to launch it. Take a look at the top display. All you have to do is press the A button to install the Slot Tool application. Once the install is complete, your system will power off automatically. And now, ladies and gentlemen, a magic act. Press and hold the left shoulder button, right shoulder button, up on the D-pad, the A button, and press the power button all at the same time, all while holding the other four buttons. Yeah, right there it is. Yep, what this does is it will launch it into the system update process. Here's the deal though, we're not actually going to run a system update, we're going to access Safe B9S installer. Tap OK in the bottom right corner, then tap I accept, then tap OK at the bottom of the touchscreen. Your system will tell you it's checking for an update on the internet. Then you'll see an error message on the screen. This is an expected behavior and part of the process. Just tap on the OK button to continue. You'll be prompted to set up your internet settings. Tap the Yes button to continue. At the next screen that appears, tap on Connection 1 to continue. In the next submenu, tap Change Settings. Don't worry, Slot Tool is going to memorize your existing settings and restore them for you in just a moment. Tap the right arrow for more options, and you'll see a listing here for proxy settings. Tap on this setting. Then in the submenu that appears, tap Detailed Setup. Take a look at the top display. You'll see a listing here that says that all input files have been verified, and to proceed, enter a combination of D-pad button presses and a single button. Follow the instructions on screen to enter the combination that's presented to you here. The process takes only a moment, and once the installation process is complete, you'll see a confirmation message on screen that says that 𝐘𝐕𝐄 has been installed successfully. Press the A button to continue, and you'll be at the Luma 3DS Setup menu. Cool! You're about to run custom firmware in your system for the first time. All you have to do at this point is just press the Start button to continue. It'll take you back to the home menu for your 2DS or 3DS. We'll need to access an application called Rosalina in order to set your custom firmware on your system as persistent. This means that every time you power on your system, custom firmware will boot. Navigate through the list of applications on your 2DS or 3DS from the home menu until you get to Download Play. Select it with the A button or tap on it in the bottom touch display. From inside Download Play, to launch the Rosalina application, press the left shoulder button, down on the D-pad, and the Select button all at the same time. You'll see the Rosalina application appear in the bottom display. From the main menu of Rosalina, use the D-pad to move the blue highlight arrow down to Miscellaneous and select Miscellaneous with the A button. From inside Miscellaneous, the first listing says, switch the HB title to the current app. Press the A button to select this option. Once you see the confirmation message on screen, press the B button 3 times to go back to the Download Play main menu. Press the Home button on your device, and at the confirmation screen that appears in the bottom touch display, tap on Close in the bottom left corner to close Download Play. Counterintuitive though it may seem, the right thing to do here is simply relaunch Download Play by selecting it with A or tapping on it in the bottom touch display. This time you'll launch into the Homebrew launcher. Pretty cool, huh? Go ahead and run the slot tool again by tapping on it in the bottom touch display. In the top display on your device, use the D-pad to move the highlight down from Install to Restore and select Restore with the A button. Once it's done, your device will automatically restart. Heading toward the home stretch, go ahead and power off your device by pressing the power button and then tapping Power Off in the bottom touch display. Now that's a handsome guy reflecting off that screen. There's one more download to grab from the guide under the Finalizing Setup section. Scroll down to what you need, and there's a zip file listed here. It's a direct download, and it's called finalize.zip. Click on it to download it to your computer. Alright, you surely know the drill by now. Go ahead and open up the Downloads folder inside File Explorer. There's a zip file inside of here. Go ahead and uncompress the zip file and delete the zip file out of your Downloads folder once you have this file extracted. Okay, so you have this folder called Finalizing. Double-click into this folder. Just like I did with the previous steps, I'll take this File Explorer window and snap it over to the left side of the screen. Grab the SD card from your device and put it back into your computer's SD card slot. Just like before, when the File Explorer window for the SD card appears, I'll take this window and snap it over to the right side of the display. This is the easiest copy job you'll have all day. All you've got to do is copy everything from the left side and drag and drop it outside of one of the subfolders directly onto the root of your SD card. Cool. Go back over to the File Explorer window on the left side and navigate back to Downloads. Now you can delete the Finalizing folder and send it to the recycle bin. Grab the SD card out of your computer, put it back into your 2DS or 3DS system, but don't press the power button. Press and hold the select button and then press the power button on your system. This does a CFW check to make sure everything's in order. You should boot to the Luma setup screen. All you have to do at this point is press the Start button to go back to the home menu of your 2DS or 3DS system. Now that we know everything's in order there, press and hold the power button on your 2DS or 3DS system and tap Power Off in the bottom display. Turn your 2DS or 3DS system right back on. From the main menu of your 2DS or 3DS system, navigate to System Settings and select it by pressing the A button or tapping System Settings in the bottom display. From the main menu of System Settings, tap on Other Settings in the bottom right corner. From here, tap on the right arrow several times until you get all the way to the end of the list of choices, then tap on System Update to continue. It's perfectly safe to run official system software updates while you're running Luma 3DS. It will not break your custom firmware. Tap on the on-screen prompts to continue. Give your system a moment to check for an update, and you should be notified that your system's up to date. Tap on OK to return to the home menu of your device. You'll need to go into the Rosalina main menu again. Press left shoulder down and the select button from the main menu. From the Rosalina menu, use the D-pad to move the highlight arrow down to Miscellaneous again. We're going to pick some different options from Miscellaneous this time. Come down to Miscellaneous, press the A button. From the list of choices inside Miscellaneous this time, use the D-pad to move the highlight arrow down until you get to the listing for Dump DSP Firmware and select it with the A button. This should only take a moment and you'll see a confirmation message on screen. This process enables Homebrew applications to be able to play sound. Once you have this dumped, press the B button to go back one level in the navigation structure. From here, scroll up one listing until you get to Nullify User Time Offset and select it with the A button. You'll see a confirmation message on screen and an instruction to reboot your device. We'll take care of that in just a moment. For now, just press the B button several times until you get back to the main menu of your 2DS or 3DS system. Press the power button on your device, then tap Power Off in the bottom touch display. If you've ever wanted to be a deity, now's your chance. Press and hold the Start button, then press the power button on your device to launch God Mode 9. A quick note here as you get started in God Mode 9, if you see a message to create an Essential Files backup, press the A button. Also, if you see a message that says that you need to set the real-time clock on your system, press the A button to confirm the setting. All of your godlike powers take place in the bottom touch display. Press the Home button to pull up the action menu. From here, use the D-pad to scroll the highlight down to Scripts and select Scripts with the A button. There's one single script available here called Finalize, selected with the A button. You may see an error message here that you don't yet have a title database. To attempt to create one, press the A button for yes. You'll be asked if you want to write to your SysNAND, which is your internal flash storage. Select yes with the A button to confirm. Just like you did in a previous step in this process, you'll see a series of D-pad presses and a single button press. Whatever you see on your display, follow those prompts in order to unlock your sysnand. This script varies quite a bit from the original types of scripts that will run in Playlix Guide from God Mode 9. Press the A button to continue, and you should be taken back to the main menu of your device. If not, power off and power your device back on normally. From here, launch the System Settings application by tapping it or selecting it with the A button. In the bottom touchscreen display, tap Data Management, then tap Nintendo 3DS, tap Software, wait for a moment, and then when the next screen appears, tap on Reset in the bottom right touch display. Once the reset process is complete, tap OK in the bottom touch display to continue. From here, you can tap the back button several times until you get all the way back to the root of the System Settings main menu. From the System Settings main menu, tap on Close in the bottom touch display to go back to the Home menu. Press the power button on your device, then tap Power Off to turn off your system. Go ahead and relaunch God Mode 9 by pressing and holding the Start button and then pressing the Power button at the same time. Just like you did before, press the Home button to pull up the Action menu. Use the D-pad to scroll the highlight arrow down to Scripts and select Scripts with the A button. Select Finalize again with the A button, and this time the Finalize process will begin. This is really cool because it automates a lot of the processes you had to do manually in God Mode 9 in the past. To continue this process, press the A button for yes. You'll be notified about sysnand write permissions again. Select Yes with the A button to continue. Once again, you'll see the combination on screen with the D-pad presses and the button press at the end. Enter the combination you see on your screen to continue, making note that it may very well be different than the one that you see in this video. This automates the process of installing some key homebrew applications to help you along your journey with your jailbroken 2DS or 3DS system, and it also creates a complete system NAND backup of your system, your operating system, and everything else as it sits right now on your system. The entire process takes about 6 minutes in real time. Once the process is complete, press the A button to continue. And check this out, you've got presents waiting for you on the Home menu. Oh, go ahead and open them up. Let's see what you got. The first one's called Anemone. It's a theme manager for your 2DS or 3DS system. The next one's called Checkpoint. It's a game save manager for your system. The FBI application is meant to allow you to install CIA files directly onto the Home menu of your 2DS or 3DS system. FTPD allows you to connect your 3DS or 2DS system and your computer together over FTP. I'm guessing by now you already know what the Homebrew launcher does. Universal Other app lets you install Homebrew applications directly to your device. Go ahead and power off your 2DS or 3DS system for now by pressing the power button, then tapping power off in the bottom touch display. You've achieved way too much at this point not to back everything up. Here's what you do. On your desktop or anywhere that you like, right-click, select New, and select Folder. You can name this folder anything you like. In this case, I'm just going to name it 3DS Backup so that I'll remember what it is when I go back to look for it. I'm going to open up this newly created folder and then put it on the right-hand side of the screen and snap it into place. One last time, go ahead and remove the SD card from your system and put it back into your computer's SD card reader. When the File Explorer window with the SD card root appears, I'll take this File Explorer window and drag it over to the left side. Now you can select everything from the root of your SD card, right-click anywhere on the highlighted files, and select Copy from the list of quick actions. Now just go anywhere inside the File Explorer window for the backup folder, right-click, and select Paste from the quick action icons. You're done with your computer. You can close out any open instances of File Explorer on your computer, and you can save the folder with the backup of your 3DS or 2DS SD card anywhere that you like. Remove the SD card from your computer and put it back into the SD card slot for your 2DS or 3DS system. It's great that you have your system jailbroken, but there's one nagging problem still remaining. There's nothing fun to do with it yet. Let's fix that. Let me show you how to set up RetroArch on your newly jailbroken 2DS or 3DS system so you can start playing your retro favorites in just a matter of minutes.